Let's try it again. Good morning. I just want you to know how proud I am of these young people. I say this every time. They are just such a great group. Every year at work camp, there's always that kid who doesn't want to work, and there's always that kid who gives leadership a hard time, and those kids are never from Indian Creek. Amen. Indian Creek is known for bringing hardworking kids who are inclusive and respectful of leadership. Every year I get emails or texts or phone calls from work camp directors asking if any Indian Creek kids are going to be at their work camp. They want our kids there because they're good people. And I especially want to say I'm especially proud of this group because there was an incident at the Kyle work camp. I'm not going to go into details. No one was in physical danger, but somebody did something that they shouldn't have, and not one of ours. And but it was our group who found out about it and couldn't rest and went to leadership, and it was dealt with then. So I was very proud of them. That was a very difficult thing to do. So I was proud of them for coming forward and proud of their hearts that they couldn't let it go. That was a great thing. So most of us went to Kyle, South Dakota, to the Oglala Lakota Indian Reservation, and we worked there with the local people. We did a lot of painting and cleaning out of garages and cleaning out of houses and weeding gardens, and I'll let them tell more about that. And then I'm going to let Alicia talk. Alicia could not join us because she was in China, likely excuse. And so she went down to another work camp that actually some of our other young people have gone to before down in Fort Myers, Florida. So I'm going to let her tell about that. So I want to share.
As far as highlights go, it's kind of hard to say. At the end of the work camp, I'll just default to this. What I said was, and this has to do with the people there. So, you know, we kind of got sort of a chance to talk to people at lunch. I mean, we had the chance, not all of us did, because we were tired and didn't always feel like it. But we did come in contact with some specific two little girls who lived right across from the guys' room in the apartment that we were staying in. And the one night, we went out to play Ultimate Frisbee, and that was so much fun. That's kind of part of the highlight, honestly. That was just the best, and it was early on, and it was like everyone was friends after that. And then we come back, and people are outside behind the apartment with these two really cute little girls who are teaching everyone how to hula hoop and also showing off. And the littler girl, her name was Leticia, and she looked at me and she was like, "Oh, well, what are those?" And I was like, "Well, these are sunglasses." And she's like, "Oh, can I put them on?" I was like, "Yeah." And so she did, and she saw purple apparently, and she thought that was great. And then the next thing she says, "Well, what's that?" And I'm like, "That's my beard. It grows naturally on my face." And she doesn't say anything. She just grabs it and pulls down. And I'm like, you know, but I'm in her face, she's in my face, and we're not saying anything. But I could have stayed there the rest of the week because she was the cutest thing. So that's my experience.
I would have to say my favorite thing about the work camp trip was learning about the Lakota culture, which is a lot different than our culture and our faith, but they're still extremely spiritual people, which we saw when we did a sweat lodge, and we were going to go to a powwow, which didn't happen, but that's okay. And we went to their local museum, so just learning about all their culture was a lot of fun.
Well, one of my favorite parts about the week was we worked on this house we were getting ready for people to move into it. And basically the house was a wreck. It was in pieces. The grass was 3 feet high and the inside was all torn apart. And by the end of the week we had the grass all mowed and had the outside looking nice, and we had all the interior ready to get all renovated and stuff. And that was probably my favorite part, was working on the house.
My favorite part was probably like the landscapes, because it was just really beautiful. There were a lot of really nice mountains too, which we carved 4 white dudes into.
My favorite part of this work camp was learning about the culture, like Christina said. I had the experience of getting to know one of the Native Americans very well. His name was Joe the Indian, so we went by on the reservation. He was a very spiritual man. He's the one who directed us on one of our days. We went to Wounded Knee, which is a massacre site for the Native Americans on the Pine Creek Indian Reservation. There was over 200 people murdered at that place, and they have a mass grave there. So we did a ceremony in the mass grave, and Joe chose 2 people to go into the gate with him, because only 2 people could go in there, and you can't take pictures during the ceremony and everything. We did an offering to the spirits. So he chose me and Christina to do the offering, and he just chose 2 random people. I had talked to him before, and he said my name first, and then Christina. And then afterwards, at the end of the week, we went to go give him a present for being so gracious to have us go up there with him. And he was like, "Nikki, can you come here for a second?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, what is he gonna do? Like, I don't know. And then he was like, "I have a present for you," and he gave me a couple pictures that he had received from locals of paintings. 2 people did paintings of him, and then a different painting that somebody had did and gave it to him. And he gave me prints of them, and then he gave me his email and his address so I could send him things, because I told him that I was an artist as well. So just making that connection with him really just inspired me to just love the culture way more than I already did. And yeah.
One of my favorite work projects was actually the gardening, which was kind of surprising because it's not really my thing. But it was a really good bonding experience. I got to bond with a lot of the other work campers, and that was cool.
So I didn't go to South Dakota. I went to North Fort Myers, Florida, where we worked at Echo Global Farms. That's a place where they make all of the agricultural areas from the world, and then they educate people from around the world on those systems. We did a lot of weeding, we did some gardening, and we built a monsoon area. We also got to do what I like to call epic fort building, which was making the habitats that people lived in around the world. I had a great time there, and thank you so much for sending me there, because it was really influential in my life, and I hope to be able to go back there and intern as I hope to do something like that in my future career.
You guys can have a seat. Thank you. We're going to show some pictures, not to slate Alicia. We love Alicia and we value her contribution, but as she herself put it, I was not there following her around with the camera. So, and she didn't, which is kind of what I do when I go. So she didn't take any pictures. She only has one. I might have plugged it in a few times just to give Alicia a little bit more billing. But, but just some samples of some work that we did.